Hi, my name is Richard Duffy and I'm the Acumatica Product Evangelist, and on behalf of Acumatica and our partners all over the world, I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation. What I'm going to do is give you a brief overview of the Acumatica user interface, take you through a little bit of a navigation through the Acumatica product, and we're going to look at a couple of specific areas in the solution that are fairly general. Then in other demonstrations, what I'll do is I'll take you into specific functional areas inside Acumatica. But in this session, we're going to concentrate on user interface, some of the things that make Acumatica particularly user-friendly, as well as some of the customization components available to you in Acumatica. Now I'm going to be utilizing a publicly available demo system, and you can see the URL for this demo system is www.smeclouderp.com/Acumatica. And you can access this demonstration system at any time, and you'll even see what I've done to make it easy for you to use. I've put the username and the password here so you can log in at any time as the administrator. Alright, so when you first hit the web browser and you put in that URL, the first thing you're going to notice about Acumatica is there's absolutely nothing to install on your local PC. What does that mean? Well, that basically means as long as you have a web browser on your device, you can run Acumatica from that device. No special software is needed, and we'll support Windows, Macintosh, Linux, you name it, we'll run on it. Even the Chrome OS running on the Chromebook with Google Chrome. So it gives you total flexibility and total choice of how you want to deploy Acumatica out to your end users. Now the other advantage is, of course, because Acumatica is 100% cloud-based, you can. One of the other advantages of the Acumatica solution is that not only do we make the solution available for you 100% cloud-based, where we run the software for you in our data center, but you can also take that exact same software, and if you want to, you can host it in your own private cloud, or you can do what many of our customers are doing. They're taking advantage of the browser-based functionality and they're deploying Acumatica on a server in their own office. You've got total choice and total flexibility. So let's go ahead. The first thing you'll see on this screen is it gives you a choice of which company to log into. Now Acumatica is fully multi-company and multi-branch. When you're using this demo, I would recommend you matter of fact, you must stick with the Acumatica demo in order to be able to replicate the exercises that I'm going to take you through. But you can see, depending on the username and password that you have, you'll have access to these other companies. And you can have 1, you can have 5, you can have 500. It's really up to you and what is the way that you've decided to deploy your Acumatica system. And then you choose Login, and the very first screen you're going to see inside Acumatica is our user-based dashboards. So what have we done? Well, it's fair to say in most organizations, people perform a job role. You don't always have the luxury of only doing one job role. So what do? We define access to all the functionality in Acumatica based on a job role. Am I a salesperson? Am I in the warehouse? Am I accounts payable? And then we define you as a user, and we map your user account to the different roles that you need to have access to. Not only do we do that, but we also deliver predefined dashboards according to the role that you have. So right now, I'm logged in as the administrator, and I have access to every single piece of functionality in Acumatica because I am the administrator. But I've said, you know what, the first screen I want to see when I log in is the sales dashboard. But you can see there's a range of other dashboards here. We have a dashboard that's set up for people inside the organization who are responsible for the support function inside the organization. And when I access the support dashboard, I get a list of different what we call widgets in the system. I get a different graphical view of my open cases. I get these support links which give me the ability to open functionality in Acumatica, and I get to see all the recent cases that are there, and all of these are completely user defined. If I'm a financial controller, I might want to access the controller dashboard, and what this does, again the same scenario. As a controller, I've said I want to see the bills that I have to approve. I've got a little widget here which shows me fixed asset functionality to purchase equipment, create fixed assets, or run my depreciation schedules. I can process cash sales. I can see all my large cash disbursements going out the door, as well as I can also see my accounts receivable balances. Now I'm operating in a screen resolution of 1280 by 720, which is the best one to work in when we're recording these video demos for high definition on YouTube. But you can see when I am working in Acumatica, I have access to these scroll bars. So really, one of the things that Acumatica is dependent on is the amount of screen real estate that you have. But of course, at any point in time, you can go in here and you can view Acumatica in full screen mode. So all you have to do is launch into full screen mode, or you can go here and you can zoom in on the or zoom out on the font size inside the web browser. Anything you can do in a web browser will work with the Acumatica user interface. So you can see I can shrink that down, I can increase it in size, or I can just go back to 100%. And the other thing I can do, of course, is I can go here and I can click on full screen, in which case it now fits everything and it gets rid of the browser bar from up the top of the system. But of course, I can easily exit out of full screen and get my browser bar back. Again, why? Because I'm working in the web browser. That's all I need to drive Acumatica. I've got a shipping dashboard here. So you can see there is a broad variety of different ways that you can configure the software to suit your own requirements. Now, not only do we set up these dashboards, but we also have the ability to create what we call flows. And a flow is just that. It's like a workflow where you can document out the processes involved in a specific business process in your organization and set it up in a drive-by-click function. What do I mean by drive-by-click? Well, for example, here's my requisition dashboard. You'll see it's basically a list of all the steps in the process. So it says set up. If this is a new customer, click here to set the customer account. Step 1, prepare the quote, create the request, click here to request the products, click here to approve the request. So because Acumatica is fundamentally a web-based product, everything in Acumatica, it's like working inside a giant website. So any one of these functions that you can access from the system, going into finance, going into distribution, and then accessing the specific functions, you can call them from a hyperlink. Anywhere where you can put a hyperlink, you can call an Acumatica function. What does that mean? Well, you probably know you can embed hyperlinks into Microsoft Excel. You can embed them into Microsoft Word. You can even embed them into Microsoft Project or Microsoft PowerPoint. What does that mean? You can use Microsoft PowerPoint as your main user interface into Acumatica. Sounds a little bit strange that you might want to do that, but you might want to make the system really, really quick and easy and simple for people to navigate. Well, that might be your decision point, and you might say, that's the way I'm going to do it. But you know what? You don't need to do that, because you can do something similar in Acumatica. I can go in, for example, and I can look at my CRM flow. And you'll see, in my CRM flow, what do I have? I have the ability to give a graphical representation of what the business process is. And then all I need to do, whenever I want to access that function, let's say I want to create a business account, I simply click on that graphical representation for business account, and you'll see what Acumatica is doing is it's opening up that function as a new tab for me, and there it is. There's my business account. And I can have as many of those tabs open as I want inside Acumatica, so I can quickly toggle backwards and forwards between as many different functions as I need depending on my job role. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, a couple of other points you'll want to be aware of when you're working inside Acumatica. Remember, I made the point before that Acumatica is like working in a giant website. Well, the way that you navigate through a website is through what's called a sitemap. And what you can see across here with these navigation bars here, the navigation bar here, and the navigation panel here, these all form what we call our sitemap. So for example, if I go back up to my sales dashboard, you'll see that in my sales dashboard I have a specific function here to enter a sales order. Now I can click on that link here in my dashboard and it will take me into the sales order entry function. Okay, and you'll see that sales order entry function comes up. But you know what? I don't have to access it that way. That's a quick and easy way, but I can also access that through other ways in the sitemap. So if I go back, just using the back button in my web browser, so if you know how to use a web browser, you'll know how to navigate through Acumatica. All I have to do is I go here into my distribution module, I go into my sales orders, and there it is. There's my enter sales orders function. And one click on there, and what does it do? It opens up the enter sales order screen. Now, a couple of other things. In this navigation panel inside Acumatica, you'll see we usually have 3 or 4 different panels here. The first one is what we call our work area. When I'm doing something like entering sales orders or processing inventory, well, I have my work area where I'll enter my sales orders, do things like shipments. These are single transactions that I'll want to do. Now, elsewhere, or at other times during the day or in the business process, I might have actions or activities that I want to process in batches, in groups. So I access those through the processes function. So for example, I've got 200 people entering sales orders all day. I get to lunchtime. What do we want to do? We want to process all the orders that have been entered in so far for the day. So what do? I go into my processes, I choose process orders. I then go ahead and I specify, well, what do I want to do? Prepare my invoices, do my credit hold releases, create shipments. So I can say I want to create shipments, and it now gives me a list of all the sales orders that have been entered in on this particular date, which is, funnily enough, today's date. But of course, I can narrow all of that down, and every single one of these screens can be customized to meet your own specific requirements. Notice you've got a lot of columns here: the order type, the order number, the description, the customer order, the status, and there's a lot more across the side here, and all I have to do is scroll across to see them. Now, anywhere where you have a grid like this in Acumatica, all I have to do is click on this little icon, and it'll give me a list of all the fields that are available for me to look at. Now, right now, they're all selected. So what I can do is I can say, you know what, I don't need to see the currency in this screen, so I'm going to remove it. I don't want to see the owner, so I'm going to remove that. I don't want to see the preferred warehouse ID, so I'm going to remove that. Or I can go in here and I can hold down my control key and I can click multiple entries here on the side. Okay, get rid of the warehouse description, location, name, location. Let's make it really simple. Move those off that screen and then hit save, and now what do you see? That screen's much simpler, a lot less information being shown up for you. So again, that can be set at the user level, the workgroup level, or system wide. Now, you'll also notice in Acumatica we use what's called responsive design. What is responsive design? Well, that's a web technique that allows you to build a user interface for one device, and as the screen resolution, the screen layout changes, the screen gets smaller or it gets bigger, you change from portrait to landscape, responsive design automatically adjusts the application for that screen size. Let me give you an example of what I mean. I can hit my hide navigation pane here, and you'll see now I'm seeing all of these fields. Now I can just click on one button here and say fit to screen. I can also go in here and I can change my screen size. Now watch what happens with these column headers here as I resize my screen. If I click on this button and I resize that screen, what you'll see happen is not what I wanted. So I've got all those fields available for me here, and what you can see is when I've clicked on that expand button, it fills that up to take up the entire screen. So we can take advantage of all the different screen sizes that you have. Let's go into one other area. Let's say, for example, I want to go and start entering sales orders. So I'll go back here into my sales orders. Now I want to keep this screen open, but I want to open a sales order screen as well. Web browser technology just says hold down the control key and click the control button and click the link rather, and it opens up a new screen with that new function in it. And here it is. Here's our sales order. Now, Watch what happens with all these functions, these tabs, as I resize the screen. I'm going to move this across, get rid of my navigation pane, and as I resize the screen, let's just go to a slightly smaller screen. Watch what happens to these tabs here as the screen size changes. So imagine I'm now going to start working on an iPad. Well, guess what happens? All of those buttons, they automatically start to resize. The screen starts to resize to take advantage of that different screen size that I'm working with. And as these tabs, as the screen gets narrower, those tabs then automatically move under here. I'll keep dragging that across, and you'll see the further I drag it, okay, the screen automatically adapts, and now I've got even more of those options which are appearing underneath the tab. But the totals tab always stays visible because I've defined that's the way I want the user interface to work. But now what also happens is as I'm moving across, see those buttons, the buttons up the top, which by the way, if I'm using an iPad or an iPhone, nice big buttons so I can drive it even with my big fat fingers. I can drive the system very, very easily. As I'm moving that across, you can see all of those things automatically resize as well. So what does that mean? One piece of application software, only one URL to remember, and I can access the Acumatica application from any device. And I would encourage you, remember, I've given you this URL. You've got the username and password to log on. Try it on any one of your devices, whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, an Android device. I challenge you to put it to the test and see how easy it is to navigate inside Acumatica. So that's a little bit about what we called responsive design. Now, we got there because we started talking about this sitemap and how it gives us the ability to navigate throughout the system, and you'll have the ability to do that. But a couple of other things I want to show you inside Acumatica that makes the system incredibly easy to use. Our help is always available at any point in time. You simply go here to help. You can click on the Get Started guides, and you can pick any one of these. If I want a get started guide on dashboards, I simply click on dashboards, and there it is. There's the dashboards getting started guide. I can click on the overview. I've also got step-by-step instructions on how to build these dashboards. You know what? I want the general user guide or documentation. I can click on there, and there it is. I want step-by-step installation instructions. Not that you'll need it if you're running in the cloud, because we're going to do all of that for you. Step-by-step guides on how to implement the Acumatica software, although 9 times out of 10 our partner will do that together with your team. How do I do customization? All the customization is documented, and part of the Acumatica product is what we call the Acumatica Cloud XRP framework, which is a series of developer tools that allow developers and people inside your organization, if they have the skills, to be able to develop additional functionality in Acumatica. And so just to give you an example, here is what we call our API reference. So all of this documentation is available for you inside the software. Now, at the risk of sounding like a late night television salesperson, wait, there's more. Because what you can do with Acumatica, if you go here into the system, you'll see that we have an area called customization. In customization, not only do you have the ability to build new customization projects, but we give you full access to explore all of the source code behind the Acumatica solution. What does that mean to you? Well, if you're trying to figure out what's the best way to do something in Acumatica, you can look at the way that we've done it. You can look at our source code. You can see everything that we do with all of our screens, all of our business processes. You can see exactly how we've done that, and you can utilize that to help you in building your own extensions to the Acumatica solution. Now, remember I said Acumatica is a giant website. Well, web pages are built with code. Now, some use PHP, some use HTML, some use what's called ASP. We use ASP or ASP.NET. So what does that mean? You can go into any one of our pages, and by choosing Edit ASPX page, you're able to take any one of our web pages and edit it. So for example, if I'm here in distribution and I'm looking at sales orders and I'm looking at my sales order entry screen, you'll see I can jump across here, and remember, I'm the administrator. You can lock people out of this because you don't want everybody going in and wreaking havoc with your system. But I can go in because I'm the administrator. I've got access to it. I can go into customization, and what can I see? I can go into my ASPX editor and I can change the look and feel and layout of this page and save it into my own customization project, which I can switch on and switch off. So I can see, how does the software work with my customization switched on? Do I think I've got a problem? I'll switch off my customization. Does the problem go away? Yes, it does. Then I know the problem's in my customization. Does it stay there? Then I know the problem's not in my customization. It's somewhere else, in something I may have done or something in the core software. Alright, so it makes it very, very easy for you to do that. Now that's if you're a developer, and not everybody's a developer. You just want to be able to get access to data in the system quickly and easily. Well, again, if I go here into System, I go into Customization. One of the things you can do inside Acumatica is you can build what we call generic inquiries. So what is a generic inquiry? Well, a generic inquiry is like an inquiry screen where you just tell the system, this is the information that I want to see on my screen. Now this is the build process for a generic inquiry. I'm not going to go through this in any great detail, but in Best Television Chef mode, here's one I've created earlier. Now I wanted a simple grid for my people to use which would give them a list of all the sales orders and quotes. Now there's a standard view inside Acumatica, but I didn't like that. I wanted to have my own very specific version. So I went in and just using the generic inquiry, I said I want to get information from my customer and sales order files. Those two files are linked using the customer ID. I want to give people, when they run this inquiry, some parameters that they can specify, like what is the order type, who is the customer, do I want to include closed orders, and do I want to put a date range? So I've got those parameters. I can also set things like conditions, how do I want it grouped, when those records are returned, how do I want them sorted, but then I've got my results grid. And this is where I say, alright, when this runs, these are the fields that I want to see. Now, remember I talked about the site map? I then, once I've built this generic inquiry, I just tell the system, well, where do I want to see it? Well, right now, I can click on here. Right now it's under Audit, but I'm going to put it on the Organization. So I want to move it up here into this tab, into the Organization tab. But sitting underneath Organization, I've got a couple of options. Well, I've got customer management. This is where my customer service reps are going to be sitting, and I want to give them access to this quick snapshot screen which will give them a quick look at all the sales orders and quotes for their customer. So I'm going to put it under customer management, and then where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it under the work area. So where do I want to put it under the work area? Do I want to put it under Enter, Manage, or Explore? Well, I'm just going to put it generically under the work area, so I double click on that, alright, and then I'll say save. So now my generic inquiry is done, it's there, so now all my customer sales reps have to do, they click on Organization, they go to Customer Management, they're in the work area, and there it is, there's my sales orders and quotes. One click automatically runs that view for me and pulls up the information. There's those parameters I was telling you about. I can narrow it down by customer, include closed orders. No, I don't want to include closed orders, so now it'll just show me those orders that are open. So again, if I do a refresh now, I'll just see the open and on hold orders, not the closed orders. Very, very quick, very, very easy. Last thing I'm going to show you in this quick demo is how you can take information out of Acumatica into Microsoft Excel. Now, if you're like me, you walk around with a sign above your head saying spreadsheets are my life. Give me any data you like, as long as it's in an Excel spreadsheet, I'll make it stand on its head, dance, sing, and make it look really, really pretty. Well, with Acumatica, you can do exactly the same thing. Anywhere where you see this Excel button, you can click on that, and what will it do? It will take the contents of this screen and will automatically format it up into an Excel spreadsheet for me. But what it does, Acumatica, because it's web-based technology, we use a technology called web services. This gives us the ability that when our Excel document is created, and I've saved it. Now I'm going to open it. When our Excel document is opened, it's just giving me a couple of security warnings. You'll see this one here is it's saying external data connections are sitting inside the system. If I enable them now, I take a copy of this spreadsheet, just this one spreadsheet, I put it onto another PC, I'm on the other side of the world. All I have to do here is click on data and then say refresh all. What does this spreadsheet do? It automatically connects securely, encrypted, over the internet back to my system and refreshes the data that's in this Excel spreadsheet. No matter where I am in the world, as long as I have that internet connection, that will go ahead and run. And now, of course, I can start slicing and dicing it. I can sort it, filter it. I can build my own graphs and so on and so forth. And if I build graphs that are based on ranges in here, every time I re-export that data, guess what? Those graphs and everything are still going to work because the data is going to go into exactly the same places. Alright, so you can take advantage of everything you know about Excel to really make the software sing. Last thing, anywhere inside Acumatica you can see these underlines. That means you can drill down. If I want to drill down to that open order for best type image, one click, it opens up that order in a new screen for me, and there it is. There's my order. By the way, I want to take a copy of this order, or I want to ask somebody in the team to do something with this order. All I do is I go up here to help, I say get link. It now grabs a URL which I can now send to anybody, and as long as they've got access to my Acumatica system, it's going to prompt them for a username and a password when they try and access this link. When I click on send and I send it to them, when they click on that link in their email or whatever, not only is it going to open up this screen, but it's going to open up this same specific order. So it's going to take them exactly where I need them to go. No worrying about do they know how to navigate through the system. Don't have to worry about any of those kinds of things at all. So think about the possibilities for that. Think about the possibilities with how easy it makes your deployment, how easy it makes the rollout of this system, how easy it makes it to train your people on how to use the Acumatica solution. It becomes very, very simple, very, very quick. And at the risk of getting too carried away, it makes it very, very easy for anybody in your organization to drive the system. Alright, so here's an email activity. This email activity can then be attached and saved together with the order, saved against the customer record, whatever I need it to do. Last thing, I know I keep saying last thing and I've said it twice now, but this is really the very last thing. Again, any screen, any record inside Acumatica, you can attach notes. Alright, so you can enter record notes at the master level or at the line level. You can attach files to the system. So if you've got product data sheets, if you've got scanned images of the customer's orders, anything like that, you can add those into Acumatica. And again, all of this can be done through a web browser. So there you have it. There's a little bit of an overview of the Acumatica system, how you navigate through some of that functionality that makes the software incredibly easy to use. In our next demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the process of creating a basic document in the system, which is sales orders. So I'm going to show you through the sales ordering process. So I look forward to seeing you in our next demonstration. Thanks very much. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, if you've got any questions about Acumatica, reach out to your Acumatica partner, or if you don't have one, reach out to us at www.acumatica.com, and we'd be more than happy to put you in touch with one of our partners all over the world who can help you understand how Acumatica can help you unlock your business potential. Thanks.